All right, check this out. People aren't the problem. People have problems, and that's why you have people problems. We learned this unintentionally. We went out to a large organization out in Mountain View, California. And at their headquarters, we're sitting there and we are going through understanding what is it we want to work on during this workshop. Now, we know what we train. We know what we teach. We help people get from where they are to where they want to go, overcoming whatever roadblock it is. It is a broad offering what we do. So whenever we work with someone, we have to customize it specifically for what are you going through or your team and how do we address it? Well, in this situation, what I was realizing was there was a difference between enabling and equipping. And this organization was unintentionally enabling their people, thinking they were equipping them with all the things that they would need. Nice restaurants, relaxation rooms, all that fun stuff. But the reality of it is what we need to do, not just for our employees, but for all the people we work with, is not focus on enabling, but focus on equipping. Are we giving them the tools they need to overcome what's happening? What I mean by that is there's this gap that has been growing since the beginning of time, right? This distance between where we are to where we should be. It's been going since the beginning of time. All of that being said, when things like pandemics happen, war happen, political unrest, whatever it might be, these gaps are growing larger and larger and larger. And what we have found is, and it can not only be that, it could even be just like whatever I call it, the Amazon top 10, whatever topic you think needs to happen, communication, leadership, change management, whatever the next hot topic is that's coming through the Amazon, personal development books, whatever that topic is, it doesn't matter because the gap continues to grow. And what we found is the only way to actually bridge the gap is properly equip the people or person to bridge the gap themselves. So let me explain how this works. All of us have problems that we are running into. But what we try to do is we don't try to solve for the cause of the problem. We try to solve for the symptom of a problem. Now, the large companies were reaching out to us saying, hey, can you solve this problem? Sure, here's the system. Can you solve this problem? Sure, here's a system. Different issues, work-life balance was one, management was the other, communication was the other, leadership was the other. But we gave the exact same tools for them to solve it, but they all got the results they wanted. Now, as we work through this and we have this conversation, we want you to realize that this is all about how do we get the results we want. What those people were doing, and most likely you are as well, is you're doing what I call symptomatic solution. We are solving for the symptom, not the actual cause. Symptomatic solution works like this in our life. My daughter, Natalie, has a rare muscular condition. Because of that, her muscles don't work. So what she does is to solve for her symptom, we have a wheelchair. The wheelchair does not cure the genetic mutation she has and the disease that's messing with her body, but it solves for the symptom of that, which is her inability to walk. That is good to do when you know what you're actually solving for. For me to think my daughter's wheelchair is going to solve her problem is a crazy way to think, but yet that's how most of us do when we work with people. So let me explain this. Let's say I was to break my arm. If I broke my arm and I had a bone sticking out and I came to you and said, hey, my arm really hurts. Can you please help fix the pain? It hurts. And what you do is you give me some pain medicine that takes away the pain. Did you solve the problem? No, you solved the symptom. You took away my pain. But what actually needs to happen to fix the problem is that bone's got to get reset, broken, reset, cast it up. And here's the beautiful thing. When you actually solve for what's causing the problem, when you set it right and you put a framework around it like a cast and you put structure and rhythm behind it, because structure leads to freedom and rhythm leads to peace for humans, all of a sudden it tends to heal itself. So people aren't the problem. People have problems. That's why you have people problems. Your issue is not the person. Your issue is that that person has problems and they don't know how to necessarily deal with them. So you are there to be able to love on them and equip them with it. That's why we have so many different solutions that we offer to people and we customize it for each individual. Now let's go one step further. All of a sudden I come to you and I say, hey, I broke my arm, but in breaking my arm, you say, how'd you do it? I go, I don't know. I just woke up and it was like this. That's a problem because what do we also want to figure out is the root cause of that's causing the pain, but also what caused me to break my arm? If it was just that I have a genetic disorder, that my bones are brittle and therefore wind came and it broke my arm, that's a major problem. Again, we need to ask ourselves why 5 times. Why, and go through and go, all right, do I truly understand what the cause is? And then we address the cause. Why do our systems work so well with people? It's not because we have figured out people. It's because we understand people work in a very specific way. And if they have problems and they are not able to handle them, those problems will seep through. You cannot live a compartmentalized life. You squeeze a fruit, the juice will come out. And if you squeeze an orange and apple juice comes out, we got a problem. The juice that will come is always of the fruit that it is. The seed that goes in plants a tree. The tree produces the right fruit. Recognize people aren't the problem. People have problems. That's why you have people problems. So if you're the person with a problem, if you're married to a person with a problem, if you have a child who is a person with a problem, if you have a teammate, an employee, a neighbor, a friend, the goal is not to point the problem out and tell them to go fix the problem. The goal is not to go get a book and throw it at them. The goal, I feel, if we truly care about the people who we have in front of us and we are called to steward them well and lead them well, and I think what we have to do is create the solutions and help them find that we expose the gap, we bridge the gap, and sustain the gap. And because I believe that's what we are called to do, we built an entire business doing this for organizations all over the world. That's the basis of Life Pulse. Overcoming roadblocks to get you from where you are to where you need to be, leveraging truth-based transformation, which truth leads to tension, tension leads to transformation. That's not always fun, but it's always profitable. Try it. Recognize the people you have problems with. It's not them you have an issue with, it's their problems. And if we can help in any way, shape, or form mitigate those problems, I promise you the people aren't the issue. And in fact, we tend to like people a lot. Try it. Let us know how it works.